Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. Coming up in the next hour. In a big development push to Northeast India, Prime Minister Narendra Modi dedicates to nation and lays foundation stone of multiple projects worth over $6.69 billion in 6 states of the region. As US carries out more airdrops of aid into Gaza, President Joe Biden says ceasefire by Ramadan looking tough. Secretary Blinken says the ball is in Hamas's court. US Navy shoots down 15 uncrewed aerial vehicles in large-scale Houthi attack in Red Sea. India thumped England by an innings and 64 runs in Dharamshala to win the series 4-1. Big announcement by BCCI announces Test cricket incentive scheme to reward players for prioritizing red ball format. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed Viksit Bharat, Viksit Northeast program in Itanagar in the northeastern state of Arunachal Pradesh today. PM Modi inaugurated and dedicated to the nation and laid the foundation stone for multiple development projects worth over $6.69 billion in Manipur, Meghalaya, Nagaland, Sikkim, Tripura and Arunachal Pradesh. The development projects of today encompass sectors like rail, road, health, housing, education, border infrastructure, IT, power, oil and gas, among others. Prime Minister Modi also launched the Unnati scheme worth about $1.2 billion. The Sela Tunnel project, constructed at a cost of over $100 million, is an engineering marvel. It will provide all-weather connectivity to Tawang across Sela Pass on the Balipara-Charidwar Tawang Road in Arunachal Pradesh. It has been constructed using the new Austrian tunneling method and incorporates safety features of the highest standards. The project will not only provide a faster and more efficient transport route in the region, but is of strategic importance to the country. Addressing the gathering, PM Modi said Northeast is becoming a strong link for trade and tourism with South Asia and East Asia. Prime Minister also spoke about Modi Ki Guarantee.
मोदी की गारंटी ये तो सुन ही रहे हैं आप लोग। लेकिन मोदी की गारंटी का मतलब क्या होता है, ये जरा अरुणाचल में आएंगे ना, इतने दूर सुदूर आपको साक्षात नजर आएगा। पूरा नॉर्थ ईस्ट देख रहा है कि मोदी की गारंटी कैसे काम कर रही है। 2019 में यहीं से मैंने सेला टनल का शिलान्यास करने का काम किया था और आज क्या हुआ, बन गया कि नहीं बन गया, बन गया कि नहीं बन गया। क्या इसको गारंटी कहते हैं कि नहीं कहते हैं? ये गारंटी पक्की गारंटी है कि नहीं है? देखिए 2019 में ही डोनी पोलो एयरपोर्ट का भी शिलान्यास मैंने किया था। आज ये एयरपोर्ट शानदार सेवाएं दे रहा है कि नहीं दे रहा है? अब बताइए, अगर मैंने 2019 में किया ना तो कुछ लोगों को लगता था कि मोदी तो चुनाव के लिए कर रहा है। समय कोई भी हो, वर्ष कोई भी हो, महीना कोई भी हो, मेरा काम सिर्फ और सिर्फ देशवासियों के लिए होता है, जनता जनार्दन के लिए होता है, आपके लिए होता है।
The newly built Sela Tunnel was inaugurated by India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi in Itanagar on Saturday. Sela Tunnel is constructed at a cost of more than $100 million and will provide all-weather connectivity to Tawang across Sela Pass. DD India correspondent Vishal Beristo spoke with the DG of Border Roads Organization on utility of tunnel for military and civilian affairs.
I'm at the entrance of Sela Tunnel, which is more than 13,000 feet high. The temperature right now is almost freezing point, and as we go inside, it would dip more. This tunnel provides an all-weather access, especially to the armed forces, and also very convenient for the civilians. I have with me the DG of the Border Roads Organization, General Srinivasan. When we say this is an all-weather access tunnel, what does it mean?
To say that, you first have to understand the access to Tawang has always been through the Sela Pass. Now, Sela Pass itself remains snowbound for approximately 20 days in the year, and snowfall falls approximately 130 days in the total year, which has to be cleared. Now, because it is single lane, because it has so many zigs to it, and because of the snow which falls on it, the amount of traffic which can ply on it is limited. This tunnel system, both Tunnel 1 and Tunnel 2, ensure that we don't have to climb the pass, and no matter what the weather, we will be able to access Tawang.
How important is this tunnel, especially for the military challenges, and helpful for it?
Definitely. I mean, to have all-weather connectivity to Tawang, which is a strategically very important region, is imperative. And this tunnel provides that all-weather connectivity, so that no matter what is the snow condition, whatever is the weather conditions, we will be able to get whatever forces need to move into the Tawang region, they can move.
So there you heard DG BRO. He's quite a contented person, and why not? The difficult task has been accomplished. With cameraman Yogesh inside the Sela tunnel, this is Vishal Baristo for DD India.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi also inaugurated and dedicated to the nation and laid the foundation stone for multiple development projects worth more than $2.1 billion in Assam's Jorhat district. The development projects of today encompass the sectors of health, oil and gas, rail and housing. The Prime Minister dedicated to nation important projects like new medical college and hospital at Tinsukia and 718-kilometer long Barauni-Guwahati pipeline, among others. PM Modi also inaugurated about 5.5 lakh homes under Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Grameen, constructed at a total cost of over $1 billion. Speaking at a public rally in Jorhat, Prime Minister Modi said that development of Northeast is necessary for fulfilling the resolution of Viksit Bharat and considers the entire Northeast as his family.
कांग्रेस के लंबे शासनकाल में नॉर्थ ईस्ट को दशकों तक सरकार की उपेक्षा सहनी पड़ी है। विकास की कई परियोजनाओं का शिलान्यास करके फोटो खिंचवा ली, लोगों को गुमराह कर दिया और फिर भाग गए, हाथ खींच लिए। लेकिन मोदी पूरे नॉर्थ ईस्ट को अपना परिवार मानता है, इसलिए हमने उन प्रोजेक्ट को भी पूरा करने पर फोकस किया जिन्हें वर्षों से लटकाया जा रहा था, कागज पर लिख करके छोड़ दिया गया था। भाजपा सरकार ने सराय घाट पर दूसरे ब्रिज, ढोला सदिया ब्रिज और बोगी बिल ब्रिज का काम पूरा कर उन्हें देश की सेवा में समर्पित किया।
Prime Minister Modi also inaugurated the 125 feet high Statue of Valor of legendary Ahom General Lachit Barphukan in Assam's Jorhat district. The project also includes the construction of Lachit and Tai Ahom Museum and a 500-seating capacity auditorium. PM Modi also inaugurated and laid foundation stones of both central and state projects worth over $2.1 billion from Jorhat. Lachit Borphukan was the famous general of the Royal Army of Ahom Kingdom in Assam who defeated the Mughals. The project is an effort to celebrate the valor of Lachit Borphukan and enhance awareness about him. It will also boost tourism and lead to generation of employment opportunities in the region. Earlier, Prime Minister Modi visited the world-famous Kaziranga National Park, a UNESCO World Heritage Site in Assam. PM Modi first took an elephant safari in the Mihimuk area of the central Kohora range of the park, followed by a jeep safari within the same range. PM also interacted with Vandurga, the team of women forest guards at the forefront of conservation efforts, and lauded their dedication and courage in safeguarding natural heritage. PM Modi also shared glimpses of him feeding sugar cane to elephants. PM also urged the citizens to visit Kaziranga National Park and experience the unparalleled beauty of its landscapes. Kaziranga National Park is famous for one-horned rhinoceros, elephants, wild water buffalo, swamp deer and tigers are also found in the park. All right, for more details on this, we are joined by our correspondent Tapas Bhattacharya from Kaziranga. Tapas, a very good evening to you. Now, can you provide more details on Prime Minister Modi's recent visit to Kaziranga National Park in Assam?
Yes, Siddharth, and I can tell you it's one of those, one of those moments when everybody in the whole area, or the whole region, was looking up to Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Kaziranga. He came here and then he went and he met the female foresters, female frontline officers who were guarding the this particular forest division. And then he went and did a elephant safari. After that, when he came back, he fed the elephants. He had a interaction with the foresters also. Then he went for a safari inside the Kaziranga National Park and Tiger Reserve. And remember, this is the whole safari spans to almost 13 to 14 kilometers. He went through the whole area, and it was a momentous journey for not just for Prime Minister Modi but for the whole country. Because for the simple reason, he showcased to the world what we have in our country. He has always given the notion or the idea of mission life, and by coming here in Kaziranga National Park, he has once again reiterated India's commitment to a sustainable living, India's commitment to strike a balance in development and at the same time in all that. So I have Siddharth, I have joined with me Raju, who is the forester who was there while Prime Minister was there. Raju, please tell us when Prime Minister was here, how does it feel to be there, and you were there at that time. But
yes, it was a great honor for our entire Kaziranga Park and the staff that our Honorable Prime Minister sir visited the Kaziranga National Park and encouraged us for the conservation of the...
Absolutely. So, Siddharth, as I mentioned, the Prime Minister emphasized the fact that conservation and development has to go hand in hand, and that is the essence of India. It is not just about development going in development in such a manner that it hampers the environment. He maintains the fact that one has to strike a delicate balance between development and at the same time keeping a track of the environment. So, those are the things that he spoke about. And as I mentioned, remember a few months back, he went to Bandipur area in Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, and now he has come here. And it kind of shows the Prime Minister's commitment towards India's wildlife conservation efforts. Remember, India currently has 2/3 of wild tigers in the world. It is leading from the front when it comes to this. And also at the same time, when you talk about Project Lion, you talk about Project Dolphin, the conservation of all these species is a major point when it comes to Prime Minister Modi's leadership and vision in the last 10 years. If you see, you realize the fact that the numbers have gone up considerably in this period, and that is because of Prime Minister's constant endeavor. Siddharth.
Definitely, Tapas. In fact, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has also urged everyone to come and experience the unparalleled beauty here at Kaziranga National Park. Tapas, could you elaborate on significance
That's another point.
Indeed.
That's another point.
Indeed. Could you elaborate, Tapas, on the significance of... Tapas, if you can hear me, can you elaborate on the significance of Prime Minister Modi's interactions with the Van Durga team of women forest guards?
Yes, Siddharth, there are 2 points I'd like to mention here. The first is that, remember, a few months back, in fact, a couple of months back, Prime Minister went to Lakshadweep. He mentioned the fact that it's important to know our own country, and tourism, India's tourist sector should, get a boost in that. And you saw how, suddenly everybody was talking about Lakshadweep. Now the same thing happened here in Kaziranga. It's known for Royal Bengal tiger. It's known for single-horned rhinoceros. But how many people outside, the northeast region or, apart from few who knew about and who like to come to Kaziranga. Prime Minister's visit to Kaziranga is expected to give a major flip to the tourist sector in this area. And I'm talking about not just Kaziranga National Park, but I'm also talking about the area nearby. It's the area. And the second point you mentioned about Van Durga, the interaction, they were absolutely ecstatic to see Prime Minister. And when he spoke to them, he mentioned the fact that you guys are doing an excellent job. And that's something, we never talk about. India is a country where this work is to be the passion of male foresters, and now the women have come and have actually joined hand with their male counterparts to safeguard their forest. So that's a huge point that Prime Minister Modi spoke, and he mentioned that.
Well, Tapas, one thing is for sure that Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Kaziranga National Park will certainly give a big boost when it comes to tourism in Kaziranga National Park. We leave it there. Thank you so much for joining in. And still to come on DD India News Hour. Emmanuel Macron picks Valérie Hayer to lead his camp in EU elections. Turkey, US discuss Ukraine, Gaza ways to improve ties. Greek Parliament passes bill allowing foreign private universities to set up branches in country.
Usually, our choice of transport is based on comfort, convenience, cost and time. But do we realize how do our choices impact the planet?
Under this project, we focus on planting indigenous trees. Smart City has set up the largest public bike-sharing project anywhere in the country.
The data shows that there are not only too few green spaces for the number of people, but that they're also unevenly distributed and mostly located in the city's wealthiest neighborhoods.
He sold these systems to a bunch of cities around the United States, and in most cases they have not materialized. It's the short tunnel that connects up the convention center and is mainly just an attraction for Teslas.
Climate change means we have to shift from combustion engines to electric vehicles. A lot of money has been invested already and change is underway.
The U.S. Department of Defense released a video on Thursday showing U.S. airmen conducting a humanitarian aid drop for Gaza residents. According to the Defense Department, the aid drop included 66 bundles of food, which can provide over 38,000 meals to civilians. These drops are occurring at a time rapidly running out for ceasefire talks to reach an agreement on a proposed 6-week truce that Washington had hoped would be in place by Ramadan, expected to start on Sunday. Egyptian security sources have said that ceasefire talks taking place in Cairo without an Israeli delegation would resume on Sunday amid fears that violence could escalate across the region during the Muslim holy month. And negotiations on a possible ceasefire in Israel-Hamas conflict, now in its 5th month, remained deadlocked in Cairo, with time running out to reach a truce in time for the Muslim holy month of Ramadan expected to begin on Sunday. Israel and Hamas blamed each other for the lack of agreement after the talks mediated by Qatar and Egypt about 40-day ceasefire amid fears of violence could escalate during the Muslim fasting month. Earlier, senior U.S. administration officials said that onus was on Hamas to complete a hostage deal and attributed the delay to what they described as Hamas so far not agreeing to release sick and elderly hostages. U.S. President Joe Biden has said it was looking tough for a ceasefire agreement in Gaza by the start of Ramadan. Biden also said he was concerned about violence in East Jerusalem without a ceasefire.
Will there be a ceasefire by Ramadan? It's looking tough, but are you concerned about violence?
The U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said it was up to Hamas to agree to a ceasefire. The ceasefire would allow more humanitarian aid into Gaza and pave the way for talks on an enduring resolution to the conflict. Blinken and Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan They held discussions on a wide range of topics ranging from security, regional cooperation, regional trade, energy and other issues. For the last couple of months, this is the third meeting between the two leaders. In the meeting, Blinken said Washington was still pushing for a ceasefire.
And in this moment, in this hour, we're also intensely focused on seeing if we can get a ceasefire with the release of hostages, the expansion of humanitarian assistance, and an environment for working on an enduring resolution. And there, the issue is Hamas. The issue is whether Hamas will decide or not to have a ceasefire that would benefit everyone. The ball is in their court. We're working intensely on it, and we'll see what they do. But there's no doubt in my mind that getting to this ceasefire with the release of hostages would be a profound benefit to everyone involved.
While the United States has also said that the temporary port to speed up aid to Gaza will take several weeks in planning and execution, as US is planning to provide 2 million meals to Gazans daily.
We anticipate that it'll take over 1,000 U.S. forces to participate in building this capability. As far as time frame, as I mentioned, several weeks, likely up to 60 days in order to deploy the forces and construct the causeway and the pier.
All right, and DD India's Alex Cadier joins us live from Jerusalem for more details. Alex, the US has announced it is building a temporary pier to get more aid into Gaza. How will it work?
Well, it's going to be a joint operation, an international cooperation to get this done. There will be multiple phases. We just heard there from the United States that it will take 60 days to build. It'll take around 1,000 troops to build the military personnel, military engineers sent from the US Army. Now, that will take 60 days, but that doesn't mean that aid isn't going to start flowing by ship already. We know that a number of charities are loading up ships in Cyprus to start sailing as early as today or tomorrow, and then it will take 2 to 3 days for the trip to Gaza. Now, the big question will be when they arrive, how will they unload this food? It's just food at the moment. Ursula von der Leyen, the President of the European Commission, said it was going to be a pilot program where only food was being shipped to Gaza. But the question of how they then land it on Gaza will be the big question, because the infrastructure there just isn't sufficient for big ships to be docked, and so they will have to find a way for that last few hundred meters to get the food on shore to those who most desperately need it. Now, officials here in Israel also say the big problem in the Gaza Strip is distribution. They accuse Hamas of selling the food, of trying to make money from the food and not distributing it to those who need it. We've heard aid agencies say differently, but certainly what this will represent is a big change in US policy, in EU policy, circumventing the Israelis, not waiting for the Israelis, is what Joe Biden said in his State of the Union speech, and trying to get that aid to Gaza as quickly as possible. It has also been criticized, it's worth mentioning, Médecins Sans Frontières, Doctors Without Borders, saying that it is a glaring distraction from the real problem, which is Israel's indiscriminate and disproportionate military campaign in Gaza, accusing the US of creating a distraction. But certainly what the objective here is to get as much food, as much aid to those starving in Gaza.
All right, Alex. And the Muslim holy month of Ramadan is just a day or so away. What's the likelihood of a deal by then?
Well, it's looking tough. You heard Joe Biden saying that it's looking tough. Some sources here say that it is still possible, but these negotiations have been ongoing for some time now. We know that the negotiations in person in Cairo have wrapped up. The Hamas delegation has left. Israel didn't send a delegation because they accused Hamas of not providing a list of the surviving hostages being held in Gaza. They are still talking, according to the US ambassador here in Israel. That is ongoing, but we've seen just in the last few moments news that some holy Muslim sites were desecrated by Israeli settlers, and this is what Joe Biden, the US president, said as well, is a real concern that here in Jerusalem things may get very, very tense, and this could become a place for clashes between worshippers and police, worshippers trying to get to Al-Aqsa Mosque, that mosque behind me, the third holiest site in Islam, being stopped by Israeli police, border police, who are very heavily armed here in Jerusalem. So something to watch in the next few days is that irrespective of whether or not those ceasefire talks reach an agreement, this city, this place may become very, very tense indeed.
All right, Alex, very quickly for our viewers, can you just tell us what are the main points of contention between Israel and Hamas that are hindering the agreement on a ceasefire?
Well, certainly the sticking points remain. We don't have updates as to whether or not they found a solution. The main one is that list of surviving hostages. Israel says, look, if we're going to enter into any deal with Hamas, we need to know which Israelis are being held in Gaza and are still alive. And Hamas says, well, so long as there is an Israeli bombing campaign, military operation in Gaza, they cannot take stock of which hostages are surviving. That has been a non-negotiable for the Israelis from the start. The other non-negotiable for the Israelis that Hamas is demanding, that fighting-aged men are allowed to return to North Gaza, which has been closed off by the Israeli forces for fighting-aged men, and Israel there saying absolutely not going to happen. And of course the other more fundamental issue is how to end this war permanently, because there is a real disconnect there. Israel's objective, they've said it over and over again, is the complete eradication of Hamas, but they are negotiating this ceasefire through intermediaries, of course, with Hamas. And so that will be an ongoing and continually unresolved issue in these negotiations.
All right, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much, Alex, for joining in and for your analysis as well. Moving on, US Navy ships and aircraft shot down 15 uncrewed aerial vehicle UAVs fired by Yemen's Houthis in the Red Sea area early on Saturday. The US Central Command said that the military was responding to a large-scale attack by Iranian-backed Houthi rebels launched into the Red Sea and Gulf of Aden. It further added that the UAVs were determined to present an imminent threat to merchant vessels, US Navy and coalition ships in the region. Meanwhile, Houthis on early Saturday targeted bulk carrier Propel Fortune in the Gulf of Aden. Houthis military spokesman Yahya Saraya in a televised speech gave details of the attack. Saraya also said on Saturday they targeted a number of US war destroyers at the Red Sea and Gulf of Aden with 37 drones. Turkey's foreign minister has said that the US and the Turkish officials held comprehensive talks about the conflicts in Ukraine and Gaza during bilateral meetings in Washington. The NATO allies started the meetings dubbed the Strategic Mechanism on Thursday to discuss efforts to move beyond deep policy disagreements and improve cooperation in other areas. Also, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky met Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan on Friday in Istanbul. Erdogan hosted Zelensky for talks on course of the Ukraine-Russia conflict, the defunct Black Sea grain deal and increased defense industry cooperation. The two also discussed bilateral defense industry cooperation and the release of Ukrainian prisoners of war held by Moscow. Turkey is expected to emphasize its continued strong support for Ukraine's territorial integrity, sovereignty and independence during the visit. After talks with President Zelensky, Erdogan said Turkey is ready to host a summit between Ukraine and Russia to end the war and added Turkey support Kyiv's territorial integrity.
Since the beginning, we are giving our utmost contribution for the war to end on the basis of negotiations. We are ready to host a peace summit that Russia will attend to. If a will to achieve an agreement between two parties, we are ready to show our support as we have showed it before.
Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky said that Russia would not be invited to the first peace summit due to be held in Switzerland.
Since the beginning, we are giving our utmost contribution for the war to end on the basis of negotiations. We are ready to host a peace summit that Russia will attend to. If a will to achieve an agreement between two parties, we are ready to show our support as we have showed it before. We do not see Russian representatives at this summit. We do not see how we can invite people that block, destroy and kill everything. We want results. We want just peace for Ukraine. So first, civilized countries of the world will develop a detailed plan achieve a result and then involve representatives from Russia, those who are ready for just peace.
All right, let's take a look at other stories making news around the world. Hundreds of pupils are missing after gunmen attacked a school in northwestern Nigeria in second mass abduction within a week in the country. Local government officials in Kaduna State confirmed the kidnappings from Kuriga school but did not provide figures as they were working out how many children had been abducted. Former Honduran President Juan Orlando Hernandez has been found guilty in a New York federal courtroom of participating in a scheme to ship cocaine through his country and into the United States. Over 24,000 dogs and their owners headed to Birmingham for the opening day of Crufts, the UK's top dog show and one of the biggest canine celebrations in the world. Over 4 days, around 220 different breeds will show off their athletic ability, agility and flyball skills to compete for the title of Best in Show. At Los Angeles' ASUFITM Museum, the work of the 5 Oscar-nominated costume designers, including Barbie, Oppenheimer and Poor Things, are showcased at a new exhibition. And still to come on DD India News Hour. US Senate approves spending legislation for several government agencies. Former Maldives President Mohammad Nasheed criticizes President Muizu's government for anti-India stand, says Maldivians welcome Indian tourists for holidays. International Monetary Fund refuses to interfere.
As it unfolds, we get to the heart of the matter.
We don't just present facts, we demystify complex social, political and economic events.
We break stories that shape the world's present and future because you deserve the truth.
I am Tanvi Taneja from New Delhi.
I'm Ollie Barrett from London.
I'm Nick Harper from Washington, DC.
Join us on DD India Global Monday to Friday at these times.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. The French president's political party is launching its European Union elections campaign on Saturday. Emmanuel Macron chose a little-known politician to head his party's campaign, and a rally for the Renaissance Party will be held in the northern French city of Lille. Ross Cullen reports.
Well, this is the Élysée Palace. You can see behind me in central Paris the French presidential office and residence, and Emmanuel Macron will be hoping that his party on Saturday can kickstart its campaign for the European Union elections in June. He has selected 37-year-old Valérie Heyer to be his lead candidate for Renaissance for his party in the European Union elections, and she has a job on her hands if she is to try to claw back some of the electoral advantage that we have seen in France being established and actually being expanded by the National Rally. Now, that is the nationalist populist, the far-right party, of which Marine Le Pen is the most well-known candidate. They have seen their polling lead well in advance of Emmanuel Macron's party, which was the final party to choose its lead candidate for the elections. The National Rally far-right polling at around about 30% or so, well ahead of Emmanuel Macron. And so he has installed a new Prime Minister, Gabriel Attal. He has now installed this new lead candidate for his party, for Renaissance, for June, Valérie Heyer, and she is going to have to try to use perhaps the bounce that Emmanuel Macron might have experienced from liberal and left-wing voters after what happened on Friday when he oversaw the ceremony to enshrine abortion rights into the French constitution. Other policies as well that the Emmanuel Macron administration wants to bring forward that might attract some centrist left-wing voters as well, about potentially bringing in a new law on assisted suicide, agricultural reforms as well. So there is a lot for her to get stuck into, Valérie Heyer, particularly this May aim to try to claw back that advantage that has been established for the European Union election campaign by France's far-right National Rally Party. Ross Cullen in Paris reporting for DD India.
And Greek Parliament on Saturday narrowly passed a bill allowing foreign private universities to set up branches in the country. The bill was passed amid weeks of protest by students who say the move will devalue degrees from public universities. Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis said it will help reverse an exodus of tens of thousands of Greek students to universities abroad. Armenia is considering applying for European Union membership as it seeks to forge closer ties with the West in the face of tensions with traditional ally Russia. Speaking to Turkey's world television station TRT, Armenia's Foreign Minister Ararat Mirzoyan, he said many new opportunities are largely being discussed in Armenia nowadays, and that will not be a secret if I say that includes membership in the European Union. Since coming to power in a 2018 revolution, Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan has deepened Armenia's ties with Europe and the United States as well, repeatedly drawing the ire of traditional ally Russia. Shifting focus to US now, the Senate approved spending legislation for several government agencies just hours before current funding expires, preventing a partial government shutdown. The Senate approved a $467.5 billion spending package, which will fund agriculture, transportation, housing, energy, veterans and other programs through the end of the fiscal year on September 30th. The package now heads to US President Joe Biden to sign into law. US presidential election came into sharper focus this week as it became clear November's election will be a rematch between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. Both men laid out their vision for a second term while attacking the other for ruining the country. Nick Harper reports from Washington.
Well, this week was one of the pivotal weeks in the US election calendar. Since the middle of January, states have been picking which candidate they want leading the Democratic and Republican parties in November's presidential election. And this week, Super Tuesday saw the greatest number of states so far, 15 in total, vote in a single day. For the Democrats, Joe Biden won them convincingly, while for the Republicans it was Donald Trump. Former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley did manage a surprise win in Vermont, but it was only her second primary victory so far and not enough to give her a chance of mounting a serious challenge against her Republican rival. Haley faced facts and the day after Super Tuesday announced that she was suspending her campaign, clearing the path for Trump to become the Republican Party nominee. It means it'll be a rematch of the 2020 election, with Trump facing off against incumbent President Joe Biden. With that clear, Biden used much of his State of the Union speech on Thursday to lay out his plans for a second term in office, starkly contrasting them with what another 4 years of Trump could look like. He accused the former president of bowing down to Russia and heavily criticised him for the attack on the US Capitol on January the 6th, 2021. Trump, in return, on social media, accused Biden of lying like crazy to try and escape accountability. Also this week, the US Supreme Court sided with the former president, saying states did not have the power to exclude him from voting ballots. America's highest court took up the case after Colorado ruled Trump's name should not appear, arguing his actions surrounding the January 6th attack amounted to insurrection, which disqualified him from running for re-election. Meanwhile, on Friday, Trump tightened his grip on the Republican National Committee, as a leadership vote in Houston, Texas, showed that the party voted in his daughter-in-law, Lara Trump, for the position of co-chair. There's a suggestion that Trump will now try and get the party to pay his mounting legal fees in the coming months. Nick Harper in Washington, reporting for DD India.
Meanwhile, former US President Donald Trump appealed New York writer E. Jean Carroll's $83.3 million defamation trial victory on Friday, the same day he proposed a bond of nearly $92 million to stop her from trying to collect. The move comes as Trump scrambles to deal with the massive financial losses he's fighting across several cases involving Carroll and the New York Attorney General's office, totaling more than $500 million US. In fact, the former US president also revealed he has lined up a $91.63 million bond from Federal Insurance Company for the appeal, reflecting the trial court's usual practice that bonds equal 110% of judgments.
She's accusing me of rape. A woman that I have no idea who she is. It came out of the blue. She's accusing me of rape, of raping her. The worst thing you can do, the worst charge. And you know it's not true too. You're a political operative also. You're a disgrace. But she's accusing me, and so are you, of rape, and it never took place. And I will tell you, I made that statement and I said, while it's politically incorrect, she's not my type. And that's 100% true. She's not my type.
Senegalese presidential candidates launched their shortened campaigns on Saturday, 2 days after a court confirmed the election would be held on March 24. The new date leaves the 19 candidates little more than 2 weeks rather than the usual 21 days to drum up support. Tensions gripped the country since early February when a bid by President Macky Sall to postpone the elections by 10 months. Former Maldives President Mohamed Nasheed slammed the action of President Mohamed Muizzu's government and said that the people of Maldives want Indian people to come there on holidays. Nasheed, currently in India, conveyed apologies on behalf of Maldivian people.
It has impacted us a lot. And, I am actually here in India. I'm very worried about this. I want to say the people of the Maldives are sorry. We are sorry that this has happened. Indian people, we want Indian people to come on their holidays to the Maldives, and there will not be any effect on any change in our hospitality. So it's very unfortunate that our kind of more activist-minded government officials, low-level government officials, decided to articulate in this manner. Then I am also encouraged that the president has now removed them from government. So I think these matters must be ironed out, and we must revert back, change course, and go back to our usual relationship.
Pakistan's former president Asif Ali Zardari is set to be elected as the 14th president of the country in the election on Saturday. The new president would replace the incumbent Dr. Arif Alvi, whose 5-year term ended last year. However, he has continued since the new electoral college was not yet formed. Meanwhile, Mahmood Khan, the candidate backed by jailed former Prime Minister Imran Khan, demanded the postponement of elections on the plea that the electoral college was incomplete. And back home, the passing out parade of the outgoing officers was held at the Officers Training Academy in the South India city of Chennai, capital of Tamil Nadu, where 184 officer cadets and 36 women cadets were commissioned into the Indian Army. These newly commissioned officers have successfully completed rigorous training, marking a significant milestone in their military careers. During the ceremony, Air Chief Marshal V.R. Chaudhary presented prestigious awards to outstanding cadets. AO Aryan Shahi was honored with the Sword of Honor and Silver Medal, while ACA Shauryan Thapa received the OTA Gold Medal. BCA Saranya M was awarded the Bronze Medal for her exceptional performance.
8 Ashok Chakra
stands at attention throughout the parade.
The anthem of the Officers Training Academy. This is a song that instills pride in our officer career, written by Major General N. Vishwanathan, retired the 12th Hindustana Hamara.
Stating that India's policy was nation first and the consumer was paramount, India's Minister for Petroleum and Natural Gas Hardeep Singh Puri said that the Indian government was able to keep oil prices from shooting up despite global turbulence, including the Russia-Ukraine conflict.
Today I wanted to explain to you the pricing of gas and energy pricing and how today you have one of the lowest prices of all these energy projects, and whereas prices the world over are going up, here they are stable or coming down.
All right, let's take a look at other stories making news. India's Home Minister Amit Shah visited Bihar today and addressed a party rally in Paliganj in the Patna district. Minister Shah also unveiled a statue of one of the founders of the BJP, late Kailash Pati Mishra, in Patna. Gujarat's Chief Minister Bhupendra Patel flagged off several medical ambulances and initiated the groundwork for multiple development projects in Bhavnagar, totaling an investment of $47.7 million during an event held on Saturday. India's National Investigation Agency releases a video of the suspect linked to Bengaluru's Rameshwaram Cafe blast case. Earlier, the NIA had announced a cash reward of 1 million rupees for providing information about the youth suspected to be involved in the case. The India Meteorological Department has predicted that light to moderate scattered to fairly widespread rainfall or snowfall over western Himalayan region from 11 to 14 March. The Weather Office has also predicted isolated to scattered rainfall over adjoining plains on 12 to 14 March. And still to come on DD India News Hour. Big announcement by the BCCI for cricketers who play Test cricket. Details after the break. World number one Indian pair of Satvik Sairaj, Ranki Reddy and Chirag Shetty to take on South Korean duo in the semi-finals of French Open.
A world that never stops, where information shapes our reality. One app stands out, helps you stay ahead of time. Introducing the DD India app, your gateway to a world of news right at your fingertips. Your most trusted source of news goes global, goes digital. Explore a world of options, top stories, live updates, in-depth analysis, and more. Stay informed wherever you are. Real-time alerts keep you ahead of the curve always. The DD India app, connecting you to the world one story at a time. Download now and explore the world of knowledge, insights, and
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. Artificial intelligence company OpenAI's chief executive Sam Altman will join ChatGPT makers board along with 3 new directors just months after getting fired and rehired by the company. An investigation into the dismissal of Altman, led by a law firm, found that a breakdown in trust between the board and Altman led to his firing. As the investigations have concluded, the firm also said that the move was not the result of concerns related to finances or product safety. Altman's ouster shook the industry as various tech leaders like Microsoft voiced their support for him. US Coast Guard is investigating an oil spill off the coast of Huntington Beach. According to Coast Guard statement, sheen was discovered after a Coast Guard helicopter flew over the site at sunrise. The spill is located roughly 2.8 miles off Huntington Beach, nearly 2 oil drilling platforms, but it was unclear whether either were the source of the spill, Coast Guard's statement said. And you're watching DD India News Hour. Time now for sport. And in sports, India beat England by an innings and 64 runs in the final test to win the 5-match series 4-1 in Dharamshala on Saturday. Having conceded a lead of 259, England were all out for 195 in their second innings on day 3 of the contest, with Joe Root top scoring for them with 84. Root waged a lone battle but did not get much support from the other end and was the last man dismissed. Off-spinner Ravichandran Ashwin claimed 5 for 77, his 100th test for a match haul of 9 wickets. Earlier, centuries by Shubman Gill and Rohit Sharma helped India to score 477 and take a lead by 259 runs against England in the 5th test. Meanwhile, England pacer James Anderson becomes first ever fast bowler to claim 700 test wickets. All right, Abhishek Mahajan, DD India correspondent, joins us live from New Delhi on this. Abhishek, indeed, big win for India, winning the series 4-1 in an emphatic fashion. What a win indeed.
Absolutely, Siddharth, what a win for India, and that too, the margins also increased, Siddharth. If you see, India lost the first test in Hyderabad and then won the second test by 106 runs. Third test, the margin got increased. They won the third test by 434 runs, and then the fourth test by 5 wickets, and then this test match, the fifth test match at Dharamshala by an innings and 64 runs. And the entire Indian team, Siddharth, showed grit and tenacity, and Rohit Sharma will cherish this win for a very long time. And one of the reasons will be that 5 debutants they featured in the series. If you talk about Sarfaraz Khan, the way Akash Deep Singh bowled, the way Dhruv Jurel performed, I mean, KL Rahul, Virat Kohli were not part of the series, and youngsters stepping in. And also this shows the bench strength that India has, the bench strength India possesses. And also the seniors also backing Rohit Sharma also said at the post-match presentation that the way youngsters have performed, and the seniors also said that, if you see, many people were questioning the form of Rohit Sharma, they were questioning the form of Shubman Gill, but Rohit Sharma, the way Yashasvi Jaiswal performed, the way Shubman Gill also performed, most 5-wicket hauls for India in the series, most runs by a cricketer in the series was Yashasvi Jaiswal, over 700 runs for him, 2 double hundreds also. Shubman Gill also 2 centuries for him, 26 wickets for Ravichandran Ashwin, most 5 wickets hauls also by Ravichandran Ashwin. Truly a tremendous performance, 4-1, and this victory India will savor for a very long time. Worthy win and worthy opposition.
Well, definitely, Abhishek, as they say, Test cricket, indeed a complete test of resilience, complete test of patience. What a series this has been, and what encounters you see. The first test match, second, third, fourth, every test match you see something or the other new, and someone or the other coming and playing for the team and getting the game for them. Talking about the youngsters, Abhishek, it's like a fresh breeze is coming to the Indian Test cricket team squad and creating waves. Now, Abhishek, England losing for the first time in Brendan McCullum's tenure. But yes, they also had their good moments in the series.
Yes, I mean, England, remember, India had lost the test series. Last time India lost the test series at home was in 2012, and the opponent was England itself. And why England performed well in that series? Because of Graeme Swann and Monty Panessa. In England was little unfortunate that they lost Jack Leach in the middle of the series. But yes, England had their moments, the way Joe Root performed, I mean, in the last test match that was played in Rajkot, and then in this test match at Dharamshala. I mean, some people are saying that baseball has backfired, but I won't say it has backfired, but yes, they need to look for different options, in the sense that, I mean, the opponent was India and they were playing in India. They should have, they didn't have plan B, if you can say that, but yes, they had their moments. The way James Anderson bowled, although not a very happy series for him, but yes, he took 700th wicket at the age of 41, and that too on Indian soil. He will cherish this for a very long time. The way Zach Crawley and Ben Duckett performed, not a very good series for the captain Ben Stokes, but yes, the way Shoaib Bashir also performed, maybe the spinner for the future for England team. And the way also Tom Hartley performed, he bowled well in the Ranchi test, and then in the test, in the Dharamshala test.
Indeed.
Also, the England had their moments, but they'll be unfortunate. I mean, they didn't win any of the test match, despite winning the first test at Hyderabad. Forgettable series for them, but yes, they had their moments.
Definitely, indeed, a good bowling performance by James Anderson, but it seems like the Indian team is saying, we don't know what baseball is. All we know is to win the series. Let's hope they continue their winning momentum and come out with flying colours in every series they play in the future. Thank you so much. We leave it there, Abhishek Mahajan. Well, in a bid to encourage players, the BCCI Secretary Jay Shah has announced a Test cricket incentive scheme to reward the India players who prioritize the red ball format and are always readily available to don the whites and play the longest format of the game for the country. Players who play more than 75% of the tests in a season will receive additional nearly $54,800 as fee per test match. The new scheme is effective from 2022-23 season. Each test cricketer is paid nearly $18,100 as match fee at the moment by BCCI. And world number 1 Indian pair of Satvik Sairaj Ranki Reddy and Chirag Shetty will take on South Korean duo of Kang Min Hyuk and Seo Seung Jae in the semi-finals of the French Open Super 750 badminton tournament on Saturday. Satvik Chirag defeated Supak Jomko and Kitunpong Kedren of Thailand 21-19, 21-13 in quarterfinals. The world number 1 pair is yet to lose a game in this tournament. In men's singles, Lakshya Sen is also advanced to the semi-finals of the tournament. Sen produced an incredible effort to knock out Singapore's Law Kian Yew in the quarterfinals. He registered a 19-21, 21-15, 21-13 victory in 76 minutes to book a spot in the semi-finals against reigning world champion Kulnawut Witisan of Thailand on Saturday. First locally Russia-born giant panda cub made public debut at Moscow Zoo. A number of tourists on Friday lined up at the zoo to see the adorable panda cub. Take a look. All right, that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X formerly known as Twitter, and Instagram. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.